Let's bring in the former Speaker of the House, the legend, the Silver Fox, Kevin McCarthy. Former Speaker, good to see you. Thanks for being with us. Here's what gets me. Joe Biden trying to walk the comment back about calling half of America garbage. The problem is this is consistent language. Joe Biden has been talking about extreme MAGA supporters, which are Donald Trump supporters, and demonizing them for the last 3 years. My question to you is, I wonder in the last 6 days, there's got to be just the smallest amount of people that are undecided or could be persuaded. How does this kind of language and demonization play with those small group of Americans who could decide this next election?
Well, I'll tell you, it's not even just a small group, it's every single American. This is the sitting president of the United States who's not running again, who doesn't have to campaign. But this is how he feels about half of America? That somehow we're garbage based upon what we believe? You've watched this time and again in his administration. And then you had a nominee before, Hillary Clinton. They have the same feeling towards us. You know, Jimmy Carter held his convention at Madison Square Garden. But somehow when Republicans use it, we're Nazis? This type of rhetoric and this type of feeling towards another American because they just disagree with your politics is wrong. But you are the sitting president. You are not the candidate. This is your true feelings about half the country? He shouldn't clarify. He should apologize because he knows the Americans are not garbage.
Kevin, but people know that's what, not just Joe Biden, how he feels about the American people, because quite frankly, that's how Biden and Harris have governed for nearly 4 years. They have treated the American people as if we're all detritus, something to be cast aside. And they are the elites in power, and we're just going to have to gobble up what they serve us. Open border, they have Afghanistan can't name 13 service members who died because of their poor decision making, blithely lying to the American people and gaslighting us about skyrocketing inflation and a cost of living crisis that they caused. So does it really, to Sean's point, does it move voters? The issues move voters, maybe not the rhetoric.
I think it's a combination. Think of the policy of what they created and think about who they listened to. But there's times when I'd go to the White House and I felt they'd look at me fundamentally different simply because I was a Republican, of how they would treat us. It wasn't until we took the majority would they even show us respect. Now, I believe regardless of what side you're on, I have respect for you. If you win an office, I have respect for you from that basis. I can disagree with you. But if you're an undecided voter, and you're wondering how someone's going to govern, if this is what they think, if President Biden believes this, and Kamala Harris does not think that she could be any different than President Biden, not one thing could she think of more of the same. More inflation, more open border, more, I believe that if you don't agree with me 100% of the time, that you're garbage. That should be very easy to make your mind up. I'm going to support the person who simply supports America. And you know, when you're thinking about an RFK that has a long history in a Kennedy family, that is very Democrat. Their entire life has been about the Democratic Party. But they saw something different in President Trump. They saw a place that they could work together. They know they're not going to agree 100% of the time when you listen to his speeches, but you know there's ways that you're going to respect me, listen to me, and I'm going to be a part of this administration. Or Tulsi Gabbard, a congresswoman who ran for the Democrat nomination for president, who literally not only supported President Trump, but she watched how they treated her based upon having a difference of opinion, that she has now re-registered to Republican. So that should tell every American out there, you're wanted inside the Republican Party. You're welcome inside the Republican Party. And we may not agree 100% of the time, but we respect your opinion. And we believe you have the opportunity to provide it.
Yeah, it's a Big Tent party, especially under Donald Trump. I want to get your take on this because we look at the polls as you do, and you know, in the 7 battleground states, you know, Trump is up a little bit, or Harris is up a little bit. I think America is white knuckling this for the next 6 days till Election Day. I want to just get your read, one of the best political minds out there, judging races. How do you see this race playing out, and why?
I see this race so close, and I'm really watching Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I believe President Trump wins North Carolina, Georgia. He can win Arizona and Nevada, but he still will not be president. It's electoral college. And in the last election, Biden won by less than 50,000 Americans decided the outcome of more than 150 million votes. So really, at this moment in time, if you want to have a change in direction, if you live in Pennsylvania, you really have a bigger say than a one vote. And the engagement. Now, I don't know if the polls are right or wrong, but if you judge the polls based upon the last election, President Trump did 4 points better in Wisconsin than the polls said he would. In each place, he only lost Pennsylvania by 80,000 votes. But if you look at the early votes show Republicans are doing much better than they did 4 years ago. If you look at voter registration, Republicans are doing better. If you look at the Gallup poll, just who do you identify, Republican or Democrat? For the first time in history, more Americans identify as a Republican than a Democrat. So the environment's there, but I cannot tell you that one candidate has put this race away. So at any time as an American, if you want your vote to count, and it doesn't matter where you live, this is your opportunity. And you've given an easier ability to vote than at any other time. Many of these states, you can mail your ballot in, you can show up on Election Day, but your most important part is make sure you get that ballot in.
Yep. Kevin McCarthy, thank you, sir. Great to see you.
The legend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, too.
Enough sucking up, and he sucks up to you in private, in show meetings. Kevin, God help us all.
He's a good man. All right.
I don't know if he could hear.
Let's move on. He's like, I'm out of here.